2020 struck us and our desire to travel around the world very hard. We've been grounded for months, unable to move anywhere. So, it's time to welcome 2021 with open arms and a plan. Nobody wants to ask for a loan or to dress up with Salvador Dali's masks and break a bank just to go on vacation. And the COVID-19 pandemic may have cut your incomes, limiting your resources even more. Well, you know what? You're in the right place. This top 10 will set up 10 different typical journeys and give you the cheapest destinations. Today, we will give you the 10 best places to travel on a budget in 2021. Now take a seat, relax, and let's begin with number 10, New Zealand. Okay, this is pretty hard. I wanted to include all continents in this top 10, but man, if you're on a budget, just don't go to Oceania. Or if you're really that sadistic, at least try New Zealand for an average daily cost of $100. $100 per day. And yeah, it's the cheapest country. You can benefit the wild nature and the coexistence of Maori traditions in western brand new cities like Auckland. If you're a fan of The Lord of the Rings, you can try to visit all filming locations. But go on your own, because organized trips cost from $4,000 to $5,000. Okay, let's call it a day. We can move on to the really cheap destinations, like our next one. Number 9. Chiapas State, Mexico. Mexico is not the cheapest country of Central and North America, but Chiapas State, in the extreme south, is pretty close. With an average daily budget of $28, you can visit an underrated but beautiful region, with several waterfalls, like the famous Christmas Tree Falls, cheap beach resort Boca del Cielo, and a ton of Maya ruins. As a base camp, I suggest the splendid San Cristobal de las Casas, and you can't leave the place without tasting pozole and mole sauce. For the 8th position, we take some steps south and we land in Bolivia. With the average cost of $27 per day, it's a tie with its neighbor Colombia. But Bolivia is so much better. Deep in the heart of the Amazon rainforest, you can find that exotic wildlife of Rirrenabach in the north of the country. Or you can climb Lake Titicaca near the border of Peru and visit one of the most beautiful Inca ruins in South America. If you like to go off the rails, you can try the tour of Salar de Uyuni, Uyuni's flat salt, where you can also find volcanoes, lagunas, and a train cemetery. If you like Spanish architect, you can go to Sucre, the official capital city of Bolivia, the Convento de San Felipe Neri, Plaza 25 de Mayo, Casa de Libertad, Castillo de la Glorieta, and many more monuments await you. Then, you can spend the night in one of the world's famous locals of La Paz, with non-stop music and some good rum. Next is number 7. We leave the Americas to the old continent, and we reach Budapest, Hungary. Visiting a European historical capital city isn't cheap. Paris, Berlin, Rome, beautiful cities with such expensive prices. But if you leave the Eurozone and you reach Western Europe, you can find Budapest, the Pearl of Danube, with an average daily cost of $26. Born from the fusion of the cities of Buda and Pest, the other capital of the Austro-Hungarian Empire is filled with historical monuments, like the Parliament Building, the Royal Palace, and the Buda Castle. And you can see all of them walking by, or taking a cruise on the Blue Danube, the second longest European river. You can taste typical dishes like kurtosalaks or goulash, go to the spa at the world-famous Széchenyi Baths, and spend the night in the several pubs and nightclubs that garnish the city. And you're a few hours away from other cheap European cities, such as Bratislava or Zagreb. 6th position, in the middle of the pack, we have Cambodia in Southeast Asia. I've been uncertain about this position till the very end. In South Asia, the cheapest country is definitely Laos, with its average daily budget of $20. But Cambodia, with $25 per day, can offer so much more. We can find the oldest Buddhist and Hinduist temples, with amazing architecture and lots of enormous statues. The most important Cambodian archaeological site is Angkor Wat, ancient capital city of the Khmer Empire, and UNESCO World Heritage Site. But you can also visit history-filled places like the Preah Vihear Temple or Sambor Prey Cook. If you prefer city life, I'd suggest to skip to the most famous and expensive Siem Reap and go to Cambodia capital city, Phnom Penh, with its several temples, the Royal Palace, the wonderful river promenade, and some typical night markets. In the southwestern part of Cambodia, then, you can find the Cardamom Mountains and the Cambodian National Park. Phenomenal landscapes, itty-bitty living space. What are you waiting for? On position number 5, we find Ethiopia. It's the best ratio between a safe and beautiful place, and a cheap one. The political situation of most of African countries makes traveling there impossible. Ethiopia, instead, can offer a splendid mix of desert landscapes and historical sites at an average $24 per day. Starting from its capital city, Addis Ababa, you can go to the National Museum and see the remains of the world-famous Australopithecus lucy, or taste some coffee in the Italian quartier of Piazza. Then, you can move and see the castles of Gondar, visit archaeological sites from the colonization, climb flat-shaped mountains, or ride a camel through the desert. If you want to meet local animals and tribes, you can try Omo and Mago national parks, but also the underrated Men's Plateau. And don't forget to eat the typical injera or berbere. We remain in Africa because Egypt missed the podium by a nose. It's in 4th spot. Northern Africa is difficult to visit on a low budget, but amazingly, the most iconic country is also the cheapest. With the first 4 cheapest African cities overall, Alexandria and Luxor included, you can live the magic of Land of Pharaohs, with an average budget of $22 per day. The most important thing is don't go with some organized trips. You can save lots of money hiring local guides. Visiting the pyramids, like the world-famous Giza, has an average cost of $6. A tour in tombs and temples is about $15. And booking your Nile cruise when you're in Egypt, you'll pay less than $25 for 3 to 5 nights. Okay, we're reaching the very peak of our top 10. Air rarefiers, legs go numb. Are you ready to continue and make the last effort? Let's go! On number 3, our bronze medal destination is Annapurna Sanctuary, Nepal. We reached the podium and I had to make harsh decisions. The choice between Nepal and Vietnam was nearly impossible. So, I decided to put you on a specific path, the Annapurna Sanctuary Trek. The trek starts from the town of Pokhara, and, without a national guide, and it's not mandatory at all, you can go to Annapurna Base Camp and back in 10 days with a budget of $200. More or less, which means $20 per day. On the road, you'll find a lot of guest houses where you can eat, drink, and rest. The Annapurna Base Camp, located at an altitude of 13,000 feet, 4,000 kilometers, offers you the amazing sight of the Annapurna Sanctuary, which is worth every drop of sweat. And man, there will be a lot. It feels more as an experience than a vacation, and you'll probably come back more tired than the moment you left. So don't forget water, purification tablets, a good stick, and pick this destination only if you're physically and mentally prepared. Meanwhile, we also climbed to 2nd place, and we give our personal silver medal to Georgia. If you want to see new and unpredicted spots of Europe and save a ton of money, you must go to Georgia, with an average budget of less than $15 per day. It's, along with the near Armenia, the cheapest European country and one of the cheapest countries in the world. At the bottom of Caucasus Mountains, you can start from its charming capital city, Tbilisi, filled with monuments and history mixed with modernity. Then go on the mountains regions and its ancient churches and monasteries, where you can do some trekking experience and reach the Black Sea. Then, if you got some time left, you can also reach Armenia and visit its fascinating capital city, Yerevan, or the historical beautiful sites of Garni Temple and Gagard Monastery. Is it enough for the 2nd position? And finally, at position number 1 of our top 10, we have Your Neighborhoods. Okay, yeah, that's kinda Kansas City shuffle, especially if you're from KC. But come on, do you really know your neighborhoods? Have you really visited your city, town, or village like you do when you're abroad? Study your neighborhoods as you do with any other position of this top 10. What are the relevant monuments and the best typical foods? You have swimming, snorkeling, climbing activities nearby? And you can cut costs sleeping and sometimes eating at home. Last but not least, if another outbreak comes up in the world, you can still move around near your village, town, or city. Okay, here we are. That's the most exhausting vacation I ever had, and I didn't even move. I hope this top 10 will be useful to organize your 2021 vacations and, despite position number 1, you liked it. And remember, the earlier, the cheaper. So hit that thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, District 10 TV, and go book your next trip. Let me know where you'll travel in the comments. See you on our next video.